2:47 in the morning. It is not the witching hour, not the hour of the dead. It is something else. An anonymous, forgotten moment tucked deep within the folds of the night. For Lena, it was the moment the silence broke. Her phone did not buzz. It convulsed. A furious, frantic vibration that sent it skittering across the nightstand, its screen igniting the room in a cold, surgical blue. Lena jolted awake, drenched in a sweat that had nothing to do with the warmth of her blankets. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the sudden quiet. It had been only a week. 1 week since she had watched her mother's battle with cancer finally end. 1 week of phantom pains and hollow spaces in the apartment. She hadn't found the strength to delete the number yet. It felt too final, like a second death. But the name on the screen was not the one she knew. It read, Mom +1. Beneath the name, the contact photo was a blurry image of her mother standing by a window, just as Lena remembered her. But the eyes were wrong. They were not the warm, tired eyes of the woman who had raised her. They were black, bottomless pits, as if someone had taken a lit match to the photograph and burned them straight through. A tremor ran through Lena's hand as she reached for the phone. Every instinct screamed at her to ignore it, to throw the device against the wall. But a desperate, grieving part of her, a part that still yearned for one last word, took over. She pressed the screen. She pressed call. The dial tone was a sick, wet sound, like a signal struggling up from deep beneath the earth. It rang once, twice, an eternity of damp, echoing pulses. Then silence, a heavy, listening silence. And then a voice. It was her own. Distorted, broken, and hitched with the rattling breath of the dying, but unmistakably her own. "Don't answer," it rasped. "It's already inside." Lena gasped, the air catching in her throat. "Mom." "Is that you?" The voice on the other end continued, now with a thick, gurgling sound, as if speaking through water. "It can hear you," it choked out. "Lock the door." The line went dead. All that remained was the sound of her own breathing, ragged and shallow, like a swimmer about to go under. She stared at the phone, her mind a whirlwind of grief and terror. 47 seconds passed, 47 seconds of suffocating silence. Then, the phone rang again. Mom +1. The vibration was different this time, a low hum that seemed to resonate deep in her bones. As she watched, a spiderweb of cracks spread across the screen, even though she hadn't moved, hadn't dropped it. Lena remembered the warning, her own voice, pleading. She swiped to decline the call. It rang again, instantly. A new notification flashed beneath a name. Mom knows you're alone. On the third ring, she snapped. With frantic fingers, she tore the back off the phone, ripped out the SIM card, and threw it across the room. She held the power button down until the screen went black. For a moment, there was peace. Then, the screen flared to life again, a pulsing, blood-red light with a single message burned into its center. Pick up. Panic, cold and absolute, seized her. She scrambled out of bed, slammed her bedroom door shut, and fumbled with the lock. She turned on every light, flooding the room with a harsh, artificial glare. In the dresser mirror, her reflection stared back, a pale, terrified stranger. And for a split second, in the dark hallway behind her reflection, a shadow moved. A knock echoed through the room, not on the door, but on the wall beside her bed. 1, 2, 3. A dry scraping sound, like fingernails dragging through plaster. The phone spoke on its own, its speakers crackling. This time, it was her mother's voice, thin and warped by static. "Daughter,
It's in your blood. I tried to leave, but it brought me back. Lena screamed. A raw, guttural sound of pure terror.
She snatched the phone and hurled it against the far wall. It shattered on impact, the screen exploding into 1,000 tiny shards. But the horror was not over. From the wreckage, a thin black slime began to ooze, pooling on the floor. It smelled of rot and the sterile grief of a hospital room. The next morning, her friend found her. Lena was huddled in a corner, rocking back and forth, her eyes wide and vacant. The apartment was immaculate. The lights were off. And on the nightstand, her phone sat, gleaming and new, without a single scratch on it. Her friend picked it up. In the contacts, there was a new entry, Mom +1. And in the call log, a single missed call from 2:47 a.m. Lena told her everything, her voice a raw whisper. "She warned me," she kept repeating. "She warned me." Her friend stayed until nightfall, then left, promising to return in the morning. She did return, with the police. The apartment was unlocked. Lena was gone. The only things out of place were a small puddle of viscous black fluid on the floor, and a phone, its screen now shattered. On its fractured display was a new photo. It showed Lena staring straight into the camera, and standing directly behind her, wearing Lena's face like a mask, was her mother, her eyes an endless, consuming darkness. They say the +1 isn't a country code. It is the final minute you will live in hell before death claims you. It is the sound of your own voice calling your mother from beyond the grave, begging her not to answer. But if you do answer, Mother comes back, and she doesn't come back alone. She comes back with what is waiting inside of you, every night at 2:47, and it already knows your address.